Hey guys, welcome back to InSense. It's myself, CJ, Sasha, and then we've got a lovely, fabulous guest. You can introduce yourself.
Matthew Bridgeman.
Yeah. So I've known Matt for like years and years and years now, and I feel like I've seen his come up and also seen so many different things that he's been doing and been like blown away. We always message each other about business ideas and like just kind of run each other through like different ideas that we've got going on. And I don't know, we've had different guests now, and we just, myself and Sasha, always want to have people on here that just either inspire us or bring new ideas to the table, or just to have a good conversation as well. And obviously, we'll speak about Matt and his journey, but also, like, I'm sure the conversation will get a bit fun, and we'll speak about some other fun things that he's got going on, which we will get to. But firstly, just what would you say your journey has been as, like, I don't know, a business owner, or even just, I don't know, a guy. Like, there's just,
as a guy.
like, just, I don't know, there's just...
Very different. I guess as a guy, it's kind of been navigating through being single, enjoying your 20s, dating. So for a little bit of context, I've been organising events for over a decade now.
Oh, wow.
So having events pretty much every single weekend, you meet so many people. So there's definitely like connotations of promoter and this and that and whatever and whatnot. But even just the fact that as a single guy, or even being a promoter when in a relationship, because you're around so many girls and worries. Luckily, whenever I've had a partner, they've been very secure, and obviously you just on the best behaviour, you wouldn't disrespect yourself or them in that scenario anyway. But it's been a weird one as a guy. Like, I've definitely noticed myself evolving and maturing. Like, you know, when you're young, you think, I'm mature. But like, as I actually have gotten older, I've been like, wow, it's crazy to think that I used to see the world this way, or that I would behave in that kind of way. Just the way that I view things and the things that I look for, especially like in someone from the opposite sex. But yeah, it's been interesting. I definitely feel like I've grown up a lot in the last maybe like 3 to 4 years. But as a business owner,
Did you start out, was it Faded first, or was there events before?
Nah, there were events before Faded.
Like, what was the story with you and Tazer? Like, was it, let's just go and like have fun, like, or was there like a concrete business idea behind it, or did the lifestyle lead you?
Nah, there was no concrete business idea behind it. Me and Tazer met at 16. This kind of shows our entrepreneurial.
So how old do you know? So if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm 30 now. So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's been
single 30.
yeah, I feel like I've known Tazer for 15 years. So yeah, about 15, 16.
Okay.
And we both had our own clothing lines at that age. And the guys, oddly enough, the guys in our area that used to organise the events, the under 18s parties, wanted to create like a t-shirt for like this big party that they had coming up. It was called I'm an 80s baby or I'm a 90s baby. So we made 2 different variations. We made I'm an 80s baby, I'm a 90s baby, because that was kind of the age they were targeting. And they got me and him together to try and like, we were the only people they knew that did clothing. So that's how we first kind of met each other. We didn't really get that close at that point in time. We reconnected around 18 when we both started going out to other events. And then I think I started Cozy. I don't think you knew me when I did Cozy. I started an event called Cozy Show, and
I remember that just from
Me and Tazer collaborated once or twice on that because he still had his clothing line. So we did like a 40s and Cozy collaboration, and that was like the most successful Cozy show because both our audiences came out together. Then I think we did a couple just random parties. I think, we just did some. Even it's still around Concrete in Shoreditch. We did a party together there like about 10, 11 years ago. And then we went out to, this story's been told a couple of times, we went out to Yo-Yo's once together, and we went downstairs into the club. This place maybe holds 250 people, and between me and Tazer, we said hi to 230. We knew everyone there. We were just not popular, but just it's weird to say.
So everyone knew who you were.
Yeah, we were literally just like, why don't we do this? Like, we're coming out, we're spending money to go out and go somewhere. We could be doing this ourselves, and we could do it like the way that we want. So then we decided to do Faded. We did it on Tazer's birthday, 2012, and 9 years later, I think maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. It happened so quick. Like, we sold out Ministry of Sound on our first birthday.
Wow. How many people was that in the Ministry of Sound?
900 or something.
Wow.
But it was on a Tuesday.
And you sold out 900
Well,
people.
you can do about 1,500. So we used the main room. We sold at the main room, which was
is
900 people.
Wow.
But I think the following bank holiday, they gave it to us again. And we did the Carnival Monday.
Wow.
And did like 1,500 people at Ministry of Sound as well.
That is.
But
Yeah.
But that,
And ever
but that
since
happened
you've
so
just
quickly.
literally been doing so many things off of the back of your brand. I remember you started doing like other types of events, but they weren't necessarily club nights, or even different type of club nights. Refresh is probably one of my favourite nights to go out to because it's like
Mine too.
it's like a sophisticated night out. Like Faded is fun and you know you're gonna have a vibe, but it's just slightly different. It's that different crowd, and you only change it a little bit with promo or whatever you do. But I just think you guys both said, right, we're doing events, and then just kind of smashed the events game and just started doing like everything under the sun, like old school Sundays as well. Was
Wow, I like the sound of that.
yeah.
There's been a few.
What was your favourite?
Yeah.
Oh, it changes. Really depends on my mood. Refresh is dear to me. Refresh is dear to me because I remember thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's, you know, when you have an idea for a business. I mean, that's how pretty much every business starts. But you have an idea of what it could be, and then it's trying to make that idea come to life.
Right.
We didn't really know what Faded would be. Faded ended up being what it became. We didn't have enough pre-thought or planning to know where Faded was going to go.
Yeah,
We
and
were just
sometimes that initial, like, you just have to go with it, because otherwise, if you're sitting on an idea, it's like, how long is this going to take? But I think you guys obviously went for it, and then it got figured out along the way.
We had no idea we'd ever be doing Ministry of Sound or festivals abroad or anything like that when we started Faded. But Refresh came to me because we started going out to Faded every month, about 2-3 years in, and we noticed that as much as our parties were still sold out, a lot of the people that were there for us at the beginning had kind of fallen off. They weren't coming out as much. So we actually asked, well, like, and this is very important, get feedback from people and ask honest questions when you're doing business, because a lot of the time you don't want to know stuff because it might hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk a lot about that. Like, if you're going to have a brand or anything, we want to know.
We want to know
what's the
You
feedback.
need to know the bad stuff.
Because I'm a true believer in, like, whatever brand, you know, you've got going on, if I don't hear the constructive criticism, then how can you ever improve and kind of level up?
Yeah.
So, and like you said, I feel like there's so many people that are like, no, they just want to kind of keep going. Even if it's successful, you might have 900 people and you have an amazing, like, successful night. But why not double that up to 2,000 people?
Yeah.
And how can you improve that?
I definitely went through a stage of, like, not wanting to hear bad things. Like,
Exactly.
of course,
It's
you're like,
like,
no, like, Hills and Feels is great. Like, don't tell me anything bad. And you get that one email that, like, someone just didn't have a good time. And that's okay. Like, you can't appeal to everyone. And also, sometimes there might be a class, an event, something that's just not its best. And you just have to be okay with that and learn from it rather than take it as, like,
You get in your, obviously, naturally, you do get in your feelings a little bit, especially when you've worked so hard for something. You're like, oh, at first, I'm like, oh, okay. But then it's like you have to be okay with the not good stuff as well.
Yeah,
Did you ever have anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely have complaints. So I was gonna say I get
What was the complaints about?
the main complaints that I get are about the venue.
Oh.
Yeah, but
it's hard when you can't do too much.
But it's a perception thing, because to the average consumer, it's one thing. They don't see as a promoter, as a venue, as a club, as a security.
Right.
As far as they're concerned, if security is rude to you, your security is rude to them.
Right.
I don't hire the
It's
security.
it's not your
Yeah,
stuff.
the venue hires the security.
Right.
So a lot of the time it will be, for instance, you might have a bad brunch, for instance, and the food takes 40 minutes to come. They're like, I can't believe the service. I'm like,
It's not your
I
fault.
can't believe the service. What is this? And I'm talking to the manager,
Yeah.
but they're not going to come back to my event.
Yeah.
Right.
They might also have a dislike for the venue, but to them it's one thing. They're going to be like, oh, like I've noticed a lot of people when they go clubbing say, oh, I'm going to go to Cargo, I liked it there. And I'm like, you liked it there when it was that night. It's not going to be that night again for another month. It's not going to be that next Friday.
Yeah,
But
unless
how do you
you're a
do?
specific club. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I was just saying, unless it's a specific club that holds that.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
But if it's events,
So
it's
if you
always.
go, it's the thing is, if you go out to central London, you go to Libertine.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever day you go, it's Libertine's
Libertine,
night.
right.
They might work with other small promoters, but it's normally Libertine's in-house event, and they'll have promoters as opposed to it's a promoted private hire event. Like you got to think, a promoted event is kind of like a birthday party. The guests that are there are only there for that occasion.
For that occasion, yeah.
They're not just, it's not the regular public. Although public can buy tickets and go, it's the people that are targeted through that brand's social media or presence, or the people that they work with.
And how do you like, for someone that is like someone might be listening and thinking, oh my god, I love that, and I want to start my own doing my own promoting. You know, how do you deal with the criticism? How do you deal with the complaints? Because you do,
I would say you have to know why you're doing it. Like at the end of the day, one thing that I have which probably stopped me.
Do you change things?
Oh yeah, definitely change things. But for me, one thing that probably stopped me becoming the best business person I can be is that I only do stuff that I'm passionate about.
Right.
So I'll never do a heavy metal night, even if there's a massive demand for it. Just because I'm not into heavy metal music, it's not for me. But that's an extreme example. But house is a very close genre. Like a lot of my friends listen to house. I like a little bit of house, but I don't have the same passion for it that I have for hip hop, R&B, Afrobeats, whatever. So for me,
I'm like, woo,
I have so many. There's someone literally, one of my boys right now is trying to get me to start a new house night. And I'm like, because if I start a new house night and it's successful, great, cool, whatever. But if I start a new house night and it's not successful, I'm gonna hate myself because I've done something I didn't even want to do in the first place. Do you know what I mean? And after a while, I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not going to have a passion for it in the way that I do with mine. It's like I love them. I love working on the projects that I have. And the reason why I think they're successful is because when you enjoy something, you don't mind spending time doing it. So you put in that 110%. You wake up early, you take that extra
and you're excited about it, like, and even the mundane things, like I know you're an admin guy, like I know you do all those bits.
Spreadsheets.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay.
And he's like the admin guy, and like we've had conversations where you say like I'm good for it because I know that I can do that part, and then Tazer will play his part, and I will do. You know, you guys know your roles as well, but I think if you love something, it doesn't really matter what part of the business it sits in, or like that's you. That's what you're committed to. It's
also,
what you want to see grow.
I love finding out about something new. So sometimes it will be something that I might not enjoy, but I'm fascinated by understanding how it works.
Absolutely.
And I always feel like as a...
sorry, is there something specific that you could say?
Like give us an example. What are you learning?
So right now, shipping.
What?
Like for my shipping.
Shipping.
So having to ship my game to the States and to Dubai and understanding, like when you send games, you have to send it delivered with duties paid. So basically you need to send it in a way that customs can be paid before it gets there, because Amazon won't be liable for the shipping and the customs and knowing which forms you need to sign out and filling out a commercial invoice and finding out a
commodity. And I think it's all things, again, because you've started up several businesses, and we will move on to his new business, but like, do you feel that there is this information available, and it's just the being keen part of you that will get
you need to look for it. I think me and you have had these conversations, so property, financial literacy. So it's the same with like learning to buy a house, saving money, stocks, bonds, dividends, high return investment accounts. This information's out there, and the annoying thing is people don't know to go look for it.
I think one thing that I've definitely learned from like having a friendship with you is just to like not be scared to ask someone. Like you'll have an idea and you could sit on it and potentially not even do anything with it because you're like, oh, worried what people think, but it's like, oh, CJ, let me know what you think about this, and then I'll say to you, oh, Matt, I'm like in the middle of buying my house, like this is happening, can you help me? And it's just like you might feel a little bit silly or dumb for asking questions, but actually you're going to be of greater value when you get the information. So you kind of have to let that go. Like if there is anyone that's wanting to start a business, like, and you can't find this stuff on Google because we all love a Google search, ask people, and I'm sure within everyone's reach there's someone that can help you. And even if you find like an advisor online that it might be free to have that initial conversation, I just think like I've spoken to at least 10 of my friends in the process of buying a house, and all of them are just scared of speaking to a broker. They're just scared. There's no actual reason. They just because they feel dumb of the terminology that I don't know, but you're not gonna know until you have the conversation. So I think one thing about business, and I didn't know a lot when I was starting out, just having conversations with friends, just having conversations with people that might know more than me. Your mum, you're just like I don't know, someone. Just
I think even strangers. Like I've had so many conversations. I'm kind of person I'll talk to anyone and everyone, and then you just kind of start an organic conversation, and you end up like finding out that you might have the same interests, or you're doing the same thing, and that kind of leads on to like, oh, hold on, I can help you with this, or I can help you with that, and then that leads to an organic relationship that what I'm trying to say is networking. Like, learn to network with different people and not being scared.
Yeah, I was so petrified of networking. I used to be like, I'm so nervous. I'm such a like, naturally, and I know, you know, just myself as a brand or whatever might seem like a confident person, but naturally I'm really shy talking to new people.
Right.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
but yeah, no, you're like, beep beep, bye.
So I'm like, hey.
But yeah, I think you have to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
especially if you are wanting to grow within your business, your brands.
Right.
Like, you have to put yourself out. I'm sure you guys have done that with venues, with different people that you're trying to like, you know, partner up with. One question that I had, and I know we again spoke about it the other day, jack of all trades. How do you feel like that's like helped you, or do you feel like it's a hindrance at times from doing multiple things? Like, how do you manage doing so much?
I'm the most organised person I know.
Love that.
So that's
Me too.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I'd say that's one quality that I have, and I think it's just natural, because it's weird. It's weird when I see like other human beings, and I'm, like, or the way that my friends and stuff will talk about, why are you so meticulous, or what? They're like Tazer calls me like a machine. He's like a robot. He says I see stuff in ones and zeros,
Right.
but it's just, for me, it's just, this is for that, this is for this is there, and it kind of just makes sense in my head.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
That's just always been there. I've just always been
But
there.
have you, was your parents disciplined? Were they quite hard on you from a young age, or did you just naturally?
It's weird because I'm only aware that I'm like this because other people have pointed out that I'm like this. I don't really have a self-awareness that I'm organised. I have a self-awareness that other people aren't. Or aren't as organised, if that kind of makes sense.
Does that like kind of irk you, like in regards to business and stuff, like when you see poor management or like?
No, sorry. This is a personal thing that I have. So it motivates me when I see people failing in other aspects or lacking in other aspects.
Does it motivate you by helping them or by?
No, it motivates me because I want to make sure that I want to make sure that I kind of phrase this correctly. But whenever I see someone doing something the wrong way, and I don't mean like out of naivety, like if someone doesn't know what they're doing, or when someone's like stuck in their way, like I'm doing it this way, or I'm doing it that, or I'm not willing to listen to what someone else has to say or whatever, I kind of look at it as that's one person I'm probably not going to have to compete with to get to the next level.
Okay.
So because someone's sloppy at their job, it means that's one person that I'm hopefully not going to have to fight to become better.
Right.
And it's not a mean way, but you kind of think, well, at least I know what I'm doing. Like I can keep on top of this, and like no disrespect to you or the way you handle your work, but you know I know my shit's A1, so I'm going to continue like this.
Yeah.
Do you feel that like you was always someone that knew this was going to be your pathway? Or did you have like a set
I don't think I knew it was
career?
going to be events, but I knew I was always going to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Love that.
I remember learning how to spell the word when I was like 14. Because
I don't even know
that's a hard ass word. Yeah.
Do you want to spell it out?
No, I'm good. I don't do well under pressure. No, I can't.
So what would you say is your best skill within being an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I would say being organised.
I actually think that's such a massive thing in running your own business, especially if you're starting out, you don't have a team, because also you're setting an example when you do get that team of how to run it. If you're kind of like, you know, in the past I've been a bit like on a career, like you know, not that I wasn't organised, but my game could have been tied to an organisation, and you know I could have had much more discipline in what I did, but again the creativity part of me took over, and I think like as soon as I started getting more disciplined and organised, I just saw like, you know, it was tunnel vision. You have that tunnel vision, and that, in my opinion, and when you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, just if you have a job and you want to kind of move up within your career, if you're not organised and you're not aware of that, it can really kind of hinder you and stop you from.
Well, I know this will probably fleet onto your new business, but that is something that helped me and you massively in lockdown. Like, we're all self-employed.
Right.
We didn't necessarily have a schedule like we would have done before. We all lived kind of crazy lifestyles and always busy. And then to have like everything stripped back from you was on furlough, right? Or no?
Ish.
Yeah, so like to kind of be like, oh
my God.
okay, like what now? like me and you just saying, all right, let's just use each other.
Right.
What's our routine? Let's set a day so that we had some kind of focus or some kind of way of understanding where our time could be.
We had structure to our day.
Yeah.
We had
and where we can be
our
efficient.
day.
Like, even if our businesses were slower than normal, like how can we,
Mm.
whatever it was. And I know
Still
you had some
keep it
time
alive.
off in lockdown and you said, I'm going to just do me for a little while. But obviously you then was able to birth a new company and a new business that's like still gone international, like only this man could do this. But how? Talk to us about the game,
Right,
let us know.
one thing I'll say is, following on from your point here, Sasha, when you said, when you do get your team together, being organised helps to be able to kind of manage them and whatever one. That's another thing I thought about. And when you said learning the different aspects that you might not enjoy, one thing I feel like if you're the director or CEO, this isn't a necessity, but personally I think it's amazing to understand every aspect of your business so that when you ask your assistant or your team to do this, you really know what it is they need to do and how they need to do it to get the best result.
I've definitely fallen into the other side where I'm like, IT's not really my thing, websites, you do that, and then I get frustrated when something's happening and I can't do it, and that is the most frustrating thing. So I've taken time, even over the lockdown, just to ask simple questions, or just go on to like Squarespace. All right, how does that work? Okay, if I need to do a refund, I worked solely on Eventbrite for years, and I was like, cool, pro at that.
Yeah.
And then we swapped different ways of set, and I was like, you do it, and then literally kind of, I don't want to say gave my power away in that sense, but relied on other people, and as a CEO or whatever you want to call it, like, you don't want to be in a position where you're leaving yourself essentially out of your own business, like, so that's something that
I've got two examples of that. One is when we started Faded, obviously we weren't making crazy money at the beginning, and we weren't expecting to anyway. So no, not even that. So I instead of hiring a cameraman, I bought a camera. And I was the cameraman and photographer for Faded for about the first year.
Wow.
Maybe
And
longer.
I thought we were doing the first event.
Well, when we doing hosting, but yes, I was literally in there with the camera, taking all the pictures, doing all the filming, everything, learning how to edit our photos. And one of the first things we did, it looked terrible now, but we had this like cartoon filter that we put on our pictures back in the day, which was just different.
Yeah.
No one else had it on theirs. I wouldn't say it looks great, but it stood out, and it was one of those things that people used to associate with our brand. It gave us something to stand out. And I haven't filmed or even picked up a camera to do anything like that for years now, but I know how to. So when I send stuff to a videographer or whatever, I know the terminology, I know what I'm asking for, I know how long it's going to take them, I know what time to book them in for to know the best time to catch the party.
And that also helps with stuff like money and stuff, so you're not essentially just throw it, because there's probably
what's the
so
fee?
many
Just
people
pay whatever it is, 'cause you don't understand
in
it.
business that don't understand all these parts of it.
Same with a website. So when I had my first business, I paid someone to make a website, and what I realized was that once you have a website, you still need to manage it. You still need to go back in, add a new blog post, change this, add new photos or whatever, and yet I'd then have to pay them every single time. So I kept on asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? And the next time I needed a website, I was like, I'm just going to figure this stuff out myself. And this was like HTML days. So I had to like try and learn how to code in HTML. Then luckily WordPress came along.
Was that fake word?
Then WordPress came along, so I learned how to use WordPress and whatever and whatnot, using all these different plugins. And then finally, like you say, now you've got Squarespace and Wix, and it's so easy. But I make websites in hours now.
That is. I have a question for you, Matt. Sorry, I know you was about to introduce the thing, but just before we get onto that, I'm very intrigued of kind of what you say, how you're learning things. What is, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, what is like your day to day? What's the structure to your day? What's the routine? What's the habits?
In lockdown, to be fair, any normal day would kind of just be emails. So it could be anything from dealing with venues to.
No, is it like I want you to run
my habits?
Your habits.
Okay, so the first thing is I'm a massive early bird. Since as long as I can remember, I've woken up.
I get like wishes sometimes at like 7 a.m. I'm like, yo, man.
But what's your early bird?
I'm normally up between, I say normally 5 and 6:30.
I'm 5 a.m.
Yeah. I'm up 4 a.m. It happens, especially when I have a new idea or project. Like when I made Bottoms Up, I literally was like, I can't remember what it's called, but like I was clinically exhausted. I basically stayed up working on it up until like 1 a.m.
Right.
And then when my brain is active, I just can't sleep. So then I'm like going to bed with like ideas are running through my head, and then I'm up at like 4 a.m. And normally when I'm up at 4 a.m., I'll be like, I have nothing to do that's urgent, let me go back to sleep. But when I'm up at 4 a.m. and I have an idea, I'm like, let me go downstairs, let me jump on the computer, let me do this, let me do that. And then that'll keep me up for an entire other day. And the worst thing is progress is worse. Because as I'm progressing, I don't want to let it go.
No,
if I
when you're on that, I
Right.
sometimes think this is why, like, we've had the conversation of like, I don't think you can get to the working smart stage unless you've worked hard. Like, that thing in your stomach, if you've not had that where you want to work all the time, like, you should want it. When you have that idea, you should want to be up at all hours. And you know, yes, I wouldn't do it so much now because I understand my boundaries for working and stuff. But when I get that, I have to be on that.
Right.
It has to. Yeah. Otherwise, you just kind of drop.
But do you have a routine as well in the morning? So when you get up at 5, are you just straight on the laptop, or you?
Do you know what? No.
Do you pray, meditate? What do you do?
No, I don't actually. No. I train.
Okay.
I train. That's a big part of my my days. But I think the most important thing for me in being an entrepreneur, just in life, is that I always have the flexibility to do what I want to do. So as much as I like routine to a degree because it keeps me focused, I like not having routine because it reminds me
why you kind of do this.
Why I do
100%.
this. The fact that I could just, tomorrow I'm just gonna go visit my friend here, or I'm gonna go on holiday, or I'm gonna today I'm just gonna, I don't know, go to the gym at 7 a.m. and have a steam and swim and whatever and not do any work, and then maybe if I want to do work I'll do it at 8 p.m. Like it's
so
up to me. You can
I still feel like, even, you know, I feel like routine is imperative and important. I call it a ritual because I feel like you should have, I'm not saying for you, just in general, I know you're saying it's like flexible, but I feel like having some sort of ritual, routine will always kind of give you some sort of structure for your day. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about having your flexible days and doing that, but I find that if I have 1 or 2 flexible days and I kind of spiral out of
okay.
Do you know what I mean? So
I hear you. Me personally it doesn't, but I think that's probably just me. And also, like
that's
I said,
also probably embedded in your lifestyle now.
I've never changed. That's the weird thing. So like most people they'll grow up, they'll go to high school, they'll get into sleeping late, and then they'll get out of it as they find a new passion. Literally, I've been up at 5 to 6:30 in the morning every day for the last 25 years.
Wow.
It's never.
If that's your lifestyle,
it's just always been like that. It's just.
It's not like something you set out to do like this.
I don't set alarms.
You
I don't set alarms. I just wake up at that time. It's not intentional. It's just how it is.
I think if you have a lifestyle that suits or works in your favour, then.
I mean, it's very annoying when I come in at 4 a.m. from an event. Because I can't wake up late. So like the latest, if I get in at 4. I'll get up at like 8.
I'm the same, you can't sleep.
Yeah, but then I might be able to nap if I'm lucky. But even if I get in at crazy times, I'm still up early. Like, it's not a choice. It's just kind of how I'm wired.
No, I'm the same. I kind of like, and then you feel tired throughout the whole day, and your day's a bit like.
That's why sometimes I'm known to like slip out and just disappear, and I'm like, I want to get an early night or whatever.
Yeah. Bottoms up.
Yes.
How did it come about?
Bottoms up.
What was the?
Oh, yes, that's it.
Let's cheers to your new business. Yes.
Cheers to the new business. How long did it spin out, firstly?
It launched, it came out on the 26th of November.
But you was a good few months before that, like.
Yeah, so I came up with the idea beginning of July.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead. That's the box. These are the cards, that's the box. I really like the box. So it's custom.
No,
it's very eye-catching.
I know it sounds silly, but it looks so crisp and
It's very.
I'm not saying that you wouldn't produce that, but like it just looks like something you would see in like a bookstore. And it's just crazy that Matt made that. Like I know it sounds silly.
Did you design
everything? Yeah.
You did that yourself.
Literally every single element of the entire game.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Gang.
I even had to learn. See, it's little things like learning about barcodes. I had no idea about barcodes.
Wow. So you did all of that?
You have to get your own barcode.
Well, I have to quiz you after this for
all these things.
Great.
Yeah.
What was your biggest F up with it?
Yeah.
I'd say this new shipping thing, to be honest, because there were some really important lessons that I had to learn. I was lucky enough to learn them before they were needed.
Okay.
So the biggest thing for me was shipping, postage, not shipping.
Right.
So shipping and postage has just been the hardest part of this.
It's just so frustrating because it's essentially not the product. Like,
I always say that to people, and that's why again it comes back to the same thing: learning about all the different aspects of a business. Because as someone that owns a events company, most of my time is spent running my accounts, learning about taxes, sorting out VAT, paying people, running pay. Today I was doing payroll. Do you know what I mean? Like, I throw parties. Why am I doing payroll? What's I going to do? But if I don't do payroll, I can't throw parties. Do you know what I mean? So it's little things like that.
So,
go ahead.
No, I want to know what the game's about.
I'm going to use my little catchy tagline. The drinking game that gets people to bond over booze, banter, and bad decisions.
Ooh!
Bad decisions. And I know it sounds silly, but was that your inspiration? Had you had those stories that you wanted to talk about? I don't know. Is this a sort of thing you share on nights out, or nights in?
To be fair, I played a lot of drinking games in my time. A lot of the time on holiday, me and Tazer travelled all over the world for events and just otherwise. And a big thing, especially when we get Airbnbs and stuff, we'll just end up having link ups at the crib, playing all kinds of different drinking games. Never have I ever, and this and that, whatever, whatnot. And the first thing when I was just literally had this random idea to come up to create a game. I didn't have a prior kind of motivation for it or idea. It was just like, let me make a game. Let me just sit here, think really hard and come up with a game. And I thought of like the never have I ever's and whatnot. And I thought, what if you had a game? And the first thing that came to me was drink if you're not wearing socks. So yeah, you two would both be drinking.
Okay.
But it never actually ended up in the game.
Oh, it didn't?
It didn't, but it gave me...
Where did that come from? Drink if you're not wearing socks?
I don't know, I just thought it was something funny that would actually separate people.
About
and it kind of did, because look, I've got socks on.
Okay.
But it just, in the scenario that I was used to playing games, it would be something that would separate the crowd. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's done that in this example.
So why didn't you use that? Especially because it was the
That's a good one.
It just didn't make the cut in the end of it.
How did you organise what made the cut, what didn't?
So once I got that, I came up with a few more, and it was like drink if you've ever been in handcuffs, drink if you've ever had a threesome, or like they go from cheeky and
this is also this is a great game if you're like wanting to get to know a guy or a girl.
So I said the whole game is about getting to know people.
So, but I'm talking about not as a group, as like if you're on a date.
On a date, yes.
Like a date.
Do you feel like those kind of questions would make you feel uncomfortable?
For me, what?
No, maybe not you.
Not me.
It's really hard. Me and Sasha are probably the most open people ever. But have you found that when you played it, have you ever had like people go, oh my god, I don't want to ask?
So made this game, whatever and whatnot, put it out there, and like I said, it came out on the 26th of November. The reason why I remember that is because the 27th was Black Friday. So basically, the first person got their game on Black Friday. Didn't intend to come out. That's just when it arrived. That's when it came to me. So all the purchases were pretty much in December leading up to Christmas. Especially it's really good timing. Especially being in lockdown, so many people were playing it with their partners or with their families, which is who they lived with. And what it made me realise is the game is great for that, but there's a couple questions in there that you might not want to play with your mum or your dad. Or maybe your partner, depending on how you feel your securities or insecurities. So some people have said to me, like, the more raunchy questions, they would love to have those conversations with their partner. They want to know what their partner's done before. And not out of, I need to know, but just to kind of, to get to know them on
a deeper level.
In a deeper level, but in a casual way.
Because
there's something a bit awkward about saying, oh, so, have you had, or whatever. But when you play it in these scenarios, it's like, it's inevitable that those things are going to come up. And you're sharing it in a very casual context where it doesn't feel like you're going to offend someone or make someone feel insecure. It is just around fun. Have you played the game with multiple different people and like got involved yourself?
Yes, definitely.
And what's been like, I don't know, something that stands out for you as like a hilarious moment, or something that has an awkward situation like come up where, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think it was very recently I played for my friend's birthday.
This game?
Yeah, this game. For my, actually no, it wasn't. It was a new version. It was a prototype of...
Oh, you got a new version?
It was a prototype of the new version.
Has that been released?
New versions are out now.
Okay, when's that coming?
They should be here by July. But again, it's like when they've been made.
Fine.
But it's when, well, they haven't been shipped out yet. They get shipped out later this month, and then when they get to me, that's when they're out. But so this is just to actually tell the story. I have to say this. So leading on from there being some questions you might not want to play with your family, with your partner, I decided to create a version that you can play. That's essentially a little bit more wholesome.
More PG.
So it's called Bottoms Up Bite Size.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, so it's kind of tailored for playing with your family, this, that, whatever. And it's also smaller and cheaper, so it's a cheaper price point.
How much is this? If you're
$22.49.
Okay, and
the bite size is $15.99.
Okay,
so some people come across it and they're like, I don't know if I want to commit to more than £20, so they might buy the bite size one. If once they love it, they might come back and get
for
this version.
£2.40? Really?
No, it's like $15.99 and then $22.
No, I know, but I'm saying if I've got a budget of £20, I don't think £2.
Yeah, of course.
It's just cool.
It really will depend. But I think it was one thing that some people said, it's a bit expensive. So I thought, okay, one thing I'll try and do is create a new product that alleviates that kind of argument. Right. And the other one was I tried to, remember we were talking about getting feedback. Right. I said, are the cards too explicit or not explicit enough? 97% said not explicit enough.
Wow.
And you got to think, there's questions like, drink if you own anal beads, drink if you've had a threesome. That's in this version.
Right.
And it's not explicit enough.
So
but it's because it's mixed up with stuff like drink if you've ever been punched in the face, which
right.
is nothing
so maybe,
sexual, drinking.
So maybe some people just want that kind of
sex.
like, you know, we all have those nights where you're like having drinking games and you just want it to be like hilarious. And those stories, me and Sasha have had, you know, even when we released our Valentine's episode, like, God, the amount of feedback we got from that, just from sharing like two funny stories. I can't imagine the amount of times if we was to play this game with different groups of friends, how many stories would come up that you're like, what? You did what?
You did what? Yeah.
So I'm playing this game, my friend's birthday, and it's 3 sets of couples, and then me and my other friend was in single. Okay. So you got 3 single people and then 3 couples.
Right.
And we're playing the bite-size version, the PG version. Because I said, let's play this one. I ain't trying to get you lot in trouble. Let's play this one.
Yeah.
As we're going round and round, and we're drinking. So as we're going round and round, some really sexual questions start coming up. And I'm like, this isn't in this. I must have misplaced this card or whatever. I'm thinking, huh? And then it comes around again. And I was like, I couldn't have replaced 3. No, maybe 1 or 2. But where are all these sexual questions coming from? And I'm like, they're not in this pack.
Right.
It goes around, I get another one. I'm like, has someone added the X-rated version? And then one of the girls goes, it was me. So she took the X-rated version when no one was looking and shuffled it into the bite-size version.
Brilliant. I want to know about my man.
So now these couples are getting questions and they're looking at each other like, what? Like one of my boys went like this. Someone asked something and he'd done it and he went. And like sipped, literally was like. And then this guy was looking at him, he's like, what? He's like, what? What? But like people were drinking, and they're like, you've done that? He goes, no, I'm just thirsty.
Oh my
God. But it got,
Was it, did it show that the reason why you separated those kind of, like, do you know what I mean?
I think because the vibe, it was just so fun.
Right.
It was more funny, like the questions were coming up, because one question that came up was, drink if you've ever been injured during sex.
Oh,
and
wow.
2 of the guys drank, but the girls afterwards were like, what? Excuse me, what?
You didn't tell me that.
What's the story? I want to hear the story. What happened? And the guys were just ignoring it or whatever. But obviously, had they told the story, which is the key to the game, one thing that you'll see when you play it, it's not just the cards, it's the conversations that the cards create.
That is.
Yeah. Because you can't have drink if you've been injured during sex and not tell the story.
And not tell the story.
Exactly. Right. You're like, I need to know.
Should we do like a random pickup? Like just the 3 of us, everyone has one. But I guess some are for fun. But we can explain the for fun and the...
Okay, cool. So simple, just for fun is, just for fun, can relate to anyone. Right. So drink if you've ever drunk text an ex.
Drunk text an ex.
If you've ever drunk text an ex.
Oh, God, yeah. God, yeah. Cheers. Danny's getting involved.
So you see how we all drank?
Cameraman's getting involved.
It's because it's just for fun. None of us could have drank, all of us could have drank.
So it applies to everyone,
It can apply. No, it still applies to everyone. But a point card, for instance. Oh damn.
Oh,
I want to do that one. I will do that one.
We're not going to do that one.
Why?
Oh, God, now I want to do it.
Okay, let's do this one instead. This one's still bad. The player that has had the biggest age gap with a sexual partner must drink.
Me.
You don't know. How do you know?
Sorry.
How many years is it?
How old is
Mine's 10. I was 25.
Mine's 10.
Mine was no.
More than 10?
How old am I? Oh my God, I've gone black. How old?
Yeah, but it's when you had sex with a person. And
I didn't have sex with him. Sorry, we just
okay, me
dated.
and Matt.
Oh,
I
so
didn't have sex with him. Sorry, I thought
Mine was 10 years.
and yours is 10.
Yeah.
Exactly
So
10.
yeah, I mean.
So
I don't
you
know
guys
exact
don't drink
months and
together?
stuff.
So no, so what actually happens in this scenario is rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ooh! Oh! Go on, see?
But the idea of a point card
Yeah.
is that it will only be one person that drinks.
Ah.
It's very rare. It's,
Yeah,
the chances
right.
of it being
So
exactly
is
10
it just
is-
the fun and the point? Is just the
Yes, so that will separate. So just for fun, it kind of just gets the vibe going. It just kind of sets the scene, gets people talking, and then the point cards. For instance, in that scenario, CJ would keep that card.
Okay.
She got
And
one
then
point.
the aim of the game is to not have as many cards?
Yes, whoever's got the least points at the end of the game wins.
Fine.
So if we take another one, the last player to touch something green must drink.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, we're still.
The last player, yeah. So CJ drinks.
Jesus, I'm
again.
losing this game.
But you see how it's only one
Yeah,
person
yeah.
that's going to drink.
You're cheating
Whereas-
because you knew that.
I waited for you. I waited. Drink if you've ever been blindfolded during sex.
God, I'm gonna be drunk.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Right,
do you get the difference between
yeah.
just for fun and yeah?
Okay, do you have a favourite card?
It's probably the last player to plank must drink.
To plank.
Just because it's literally getting people start diving, people jump over
I can,
tables.
especially when you're drunk as well.
It's
Like,
just, it's so funny to watch because people are like, wait, what?
I need to.
I did this
And
when
they're trying
I
to find
played
space.
the game. So I bought mine like when it first came out, and I did mine. We had a cocktail making night at home, and gee, we was all so messy to the point where we couldn't finish the game.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, good night, because
Yeah.
I'm fucked. Like, yeah. But it was hilarious. We was all just pissing ourselves because it's that urgency of like you don't even realise that you're in competitive mode,
Yeah.
but because it's around drinking, and then it is naturally fun, like you just are so much more involved. Like it's not like, if you're playing some games with your family and it's very like nice,
Yeah.
you play Monopoly.
I love this I'm just thinking about, I'm definitely buying this game because when I'm hosting like my dinners with my girls and when I'm hosting things here, it just takes away that kind of like,
Yes, you don't have to think about
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good not conversation. I mean, you're not going to be like, there's no conversation. Should we play bottoms
I mean,
up?
it's-
But you
yeah.
can. Like, I think it's a great game, and I don't know. Obviously, there's so many other ideas that you're having from this now. But do you feel like this has now opened up your eyes to like a brand new?
Yeah, I've never had other than the clothing line I had when I was literally 15, 16 years old, I've never really had a product. It's a completely different. I've been working in services for the last 10 years, organising events, managing venues, but putting on things and not creating something I can sell. Like I know I sell tickets, but it's not the same if you look at it. Yeah. So having a product is great because it's very similar to, in my head, it's similar to like writing a book. Once it's made, it's just there, and then as it gets out there in the world, more people hear about it, more people see it, more people buy it and whatever and whatnot, and you kind of just sit back and you're like, wow. And it's just crazy. I've run Faded for 10 years, and I consider it's one of London's biggest hip hop and R&B brands, right? And there's people I've met that I'll be like, they were like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I run a hip hop night for Faded. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I think I've heard it once or twice. And like, oh yeah, I think I saw some game on your Instagram. Oh yeah, Bottoms Up. Oh my god, Bottoms Up is yours. And I'm like, how have you heard about this in 6 months?
Right.
And it's
You know what? A few of my friends did. They were like, "What? That's Matt's thing," or like it literally, and I was like, "Yeah, like it's crazy."
Now you know you have the man behind the genius idea.
And so many other things.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing that you'd want to leave, maybe someone who's watching this wants to start their first business, bit scared, not sure what, like, I don't
Give
know,
him a
bit
bit
of
of advice,
advice.
go on.
start. I know that sounds simple, but so many people talk themselves out of it and they say, okay, as soon as I get this, then I'll do it. Or once I figure out that, or once I do this, or once I do that. There's a saying, I'm trying to remember it exactly. It's something like, shoot and then aim. Where everyone thinks aim and then shoot. Everyone's focused on, I haven't got it right yet. I haven't got it right yet. I can't start. I can't. And it's like, sometimes you just need to start and figure it out as you go. Because if you don't, you might not ever start.
Literally, there's probably so many people in, they're however old, just going, I wish I did that. And I think that's one thing that's great about our generation in general, that there's so many people that just try and shit. And, yes, become...
You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I promise you, you're gonna make mistakes.
That's
I
part and
know
parcel of it, like-
I've still got mistakes to make, but I'll learn from them, and that's the main thing. So I literally saw a post today, and it was like, you're allowed to make 1,000,000 mistakes. Just don't carry on making the same one.
Right. I that one.
Yeah.
I feel like when you do the same one, the universe keeps presenting the same
Yeah, of course.
scenario
Until you show that you've evolved and you've
like
yeah.
you get a slap in
Learn
your
from
face.
those. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Matt, is there, like, tell us where we can buy your products.
Bottomsupgame.com.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
Amazon.
Amazon.uk. Amazon.com in America.
Yeah.
Amazon.ae in UAE. I'm expanding, baby.
Yes.
And your the Instagram handle and everything.
Bottoms Up Game.
Okay.
Amazing. And I'm sure if you're going to support Bottoms Up, you'll probably support all of his other events. And I'm sure there's going to be like so many different things and new things that you've got coming up over the next few years anyway. So just follow Matt and just be on his journey.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys
Thank
soon.
you, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All done?
Cool.
Lovely.
Bottoms up.
Sweet.
Thanks, Matt. That was fun.
I genuinely think